Yu-Gi-Oh can mean a lot of things to a lot of people, with many different elements to the game, from the competitive nature of the higher tournaments to the casual gameplay that you could experience at your local store, or even just collecting the cards if you're more of a collector than a player, and with many different formats from Edison to GOAT to the advanced format. Everyone can play this game differently, but this is our journey from going from a casual collector into a much more competitive player. So please follow along and watch us go from casual to competitive, all the way to hopefully topping our first ever regionals. Welcome to this week's episode of Casual to Competitive. This week and potentially next week might be done with a bit of a twist. So before we talk about that, let's talk about last week. Last week we went 2-2. Not the worst result in the world, definitely. We ended neutral, but we're kind of hoping to end positive. However, looking back, I went still not feeling very well with a migraine, and we still managed to pull 2-2, so I can't get too mad at that. But no excuses. This week and potentially next week, we're going to be focusing more on the casual side of things. So I don't want to chimera myself out and White Forest to stay cutting it either way until we get those Sinful Spoils cards, which have been pre-ordered. They release on Thursday, today is Sunday, so I'm kind of hoping they will be delivered in time ready for next week. But if not, it will be a more fun casual deck we'll be going with again. This week we have dusted off Traptrix Amazement. Is it a good deck? No, it's average. Do I plan to win anything with this deck today? Not really. If I do, great, but I am going this week a bit of a palate cleanser, just going in, jacking some cards down which I think are funny, and hopefully just have a good time. Once these Sinful Spoil cards arrive, and funny enough, taking back everything I said last week, I picked up a Fiend Smith engine, and we've also ordered the evil hero cards we need for Chimera to use the Fiend Smith engine. So once all of these cards have arrived, we are going to go full power Chimera and see what we can do with it. So I apologise to any of my opponents when that happens, but we'll see. But anyway, so this week, Traptrix Amazement. Next week, if the cards haven't arrived, I'm either going to bust out Math Mech without Circular. Anyone who's watched the show long enough knows Math Mech used to be my main deck before Circular got hit. Or potentially Pendulum Magicians. Who knows? They're the or Endymion, which is essentially just a worse Pendulum Magician build. But they're the three decks we have basically assembled, other than Chimera and White Forest. So I might leave a poll in the description box below, or in the comments, or even over on my Twitter. Why not? Plug Twitter, I guess, and go from there. But yeah, either way, I will see you guys at Geek Retreat in the first round. Peace. Okay guys, so here we are in round one. We are up against fellow MPEC guy David. David is of course on his Fiend Smith Goblins, and this is round one, game one. I believe we won the dice roll. No, David won the dice roll, sorry. So he goes ahead and summons a goblin with 2400 attack. I can't remember this thing's name, but basically it's normal summons itself if you control no monsters or just goblins. And we go ahead and we throw down the imperm, because it does search another goblin name, and yeah, we can't afford him to go off like that. And then we trigger the the Amazement monster. We trigger the Amazement. Because the trap card's been activated, it can special summon itself. And then once it's special summoned, once per turn, when my opponent normal or special summons, we can play a Amazement trap card straight on top of it. David actually passes his turn there. So we draw for turn. As you can see here, we have this one's not Malario, it's the other one, Mantis, that's it. So we normal summon Mantis, we attempt to activate the effect, which is met with the effect radar, which is fine, fair enough. One hand trap deserves another. So we go ahead here, we link it off for Sarah. I was having a little think about just linking them both off into Rabbit, but I thought, And then I thought, yeah, well, actually, I don't have any trap cards I could activate or other Traptrix monsters at this stage. And we'll get more damage off if we actually punch first and then link in Sarah main phase 2. So that's exactly what we did. The Amazement Administrator clears the monster because we've got 200 more life points, 200 more attack points. And then we swing direct with Mantis. And here we go ahead in main phase 2, we link Mantis off for Sarah, and that is all she wrote for our turn. So we do pass down here, and on David's turn he goes ahead and summons Clatter Spider, Goblin Clatter Spider. So it does have a non-summon effect, which off the top of my head I can't remember what it does. But then chain 2 we administer Amazement Administrator. I keep trying to call it Azamina. It's not Azamina. I need to get that out of my head. So we go ahead and we put the Horror House onto the Clatter Spider. The Clatter Spider special summons one. And then this monster comes back and again it tries to search. We go ahead, we drop the Ash Blossom, we stop that search, we don't want that. And then on resolution we activate the Horror House to Book a Moon his Clatter Spider. And because a trap card has been activated, Sarah will proc as well, allowing us to grab, to special summon a Traptrix monster. So we can go ahead and special summon one here. I'm having a good think about what I want to special summon, because normally here I'd spec Dionea, but we ain't got any normal trap holes in the grave. So there's no point going to spec the Dionea here. If I've really thought about it, I should have gone to Arachnocampia, because then it wouldn't matter about the insect plant lock, because we're on our opponent's turn, not ours. But, you know, should have thought about that, but there we go. So that all resolves, and here we are. David then goes ahead and activates that triple tactics talent. Nothing I can do about that, I can't stop that. He goes ahead and does the draw 2, and that, unfortunately for me, is enough to give him more combo pieces. So here he goes ahead and plays, I believe that one's called Grand Bash, which allows him to search a goblin. All of these goblins kind of search each other quite quickly and can build up resources very, very quick if you're not careful. So as you can see here, you search for Doug Charger. Excuse me. But he has normal summon the Clatter Spider, so you got to bear that in mind. He can't just normal summon again unless he has a card that says otherwise, but for now he does not. And he knows, given my board state, I am going to start climbing pretty quickly, so he needs to try and clip my wings a little bit, sooner the better. So he just goes ahead and punches Sarah with the Goblin Monster with 2400. Unfortunately for us, because Sarah, unfortunately, is a good card, but it's so damn weak. He sets a card, and I believe that is David's turn there. So we go ahead, we draw for turn. I believe we drew the Imperm here. I'm not 100% sure, I can't see that card exactly. We go ahead here, I'm looking for the Sarah. My sleeves were playing silly with me today. So we go ahead, we link into Sarah again. And looks like our opponent might have something, but no, we go ahead and we summon the Mantis again because we had another copy in hand. So Mantis, when summoned, searches for I believe it searches for a hole trap, but he goes ahead and activates the Imperm. And it's like, okay, cool. That will proc Sarah though. You've got to bear that in mind because a trap card has been activated. Sarah does not care if it is your trap card. As long as a trap is activated. So Sarah will activate here, allowing us to special summon a Traptrix monster from our deck. So here we just grab the other Mantis because why not? We activate the Mantis quick effect here to target our back row to bounce it to hand, and choose not to set it at this stage because that will then proc Sarah to set a trap card. So Sarah will now resolve. I don't know why I didn't quick effect bounce it to begin with, but there you go. Live and learn. Sarah sets the Gravedigger's Trap Hole. I reset the card, which then we activate pitching the Gravedigger's Trap Hole. So I did the wrong thing there. I set the Gravediggers when realistically I could have kept it in the deck, set something else, and used the Rafflesia for the Gravediggers, rather than getting them both out and both into circulation this early on. However, it kind of swings and roundabouts because whatever card I chose instead, I could have just used Rafflesia for that instead. But here we decide to go ahead and link 2 into IP, and then I realised I couldn't because it requires 2 non-link monsters. Sarah is not a non-link. So we decide to still commit to the IP because that's what we wanted to do, just using 2 monsters here, and then David drops in the Nibiru because that was summon number 5. I wasn't sure, but yeah, he is absolutely right for 5. So it is a fat rock. So we go ahead here. I've got a token. Ask him where he wants it, and he wants it in that zone. So it's in the relinquished animal zone. And we calculate the attack and defense. And yeah, it is a fat rock. Quite high attack, however the defense is only like 3,800, I believe. And what you witness there is actually the start of the end. So from here, once we've finished calculating, it becomes very apparent that I am now in a massively uphill battle. Yes, I do still have my trap cards, however, the traps will only get you so far, especially without any monsters proccing or activating to go along with them, unfortunately for me. But like I said, you will see here. So here I'm having a flick through the graveyard, just see if I've got anything activatable. I've got the Holotail, which can spec back a Traptrix monster if I banish it. So I've got something to block and attack, if I can. And like I say, it is the beginning of the end here for us, unfortunately. David then goes ahead, normal summons Doug. Doug will activate, and there ain't a whole lot we can do now. Like I said, we've got the Gravedigger's Trap Hole set, and we've got a fat nib token. Unfortunately for us, the Gravediggers does not stop things like Doug from activating, because it only does monsters in our opponent's hand, graveyard, and or banishment. Doug, as you know, is an on-field effect, so sweet. Not a whole lot more we can do from that. So Doug will go and resolve. And he searches the new spell card, which is like a quick play for the goblin stuff, which is always fun. Isn't it fun when goblins get a quick play? It kind of works very similar to E-Telly, but for goblin names. So that's fantastic. That is really great stuff for us. Can you sense the sarcasm there? But yeah, again, I'm not mad. I'm here for a fun week this week. I'm not on some weird try-hard deck. Not saying David is either. I know he loves his goblins. But yeah, we're just here having a good time. And it's just nice watching him combo off. He has to give up a monster to activate the spell to spec. So he gave up the Nibiru because obviously at this point now it is useless to him. And yeah, he just combos off from here. He makes his big Unga Bunga, which searches. I'll say he does a whole thing from here, which yeah, it's really good. So from here now, he grabs Boomek, and it actually turns out, even though he's playing like goblins, he only runs one of each goblin name, which I thought was kind of crazy, because like if they get banished or something, he's kind of screwed. But yeah. So then from here he ranks up to the level, the rank 4 water thing. The rank 4 water thing then grabs in the trap card. So, then from here we go, and I'm like, yeah, cool, I've got Gravediggers. Not doing a whole lot of Gravediggers. So he's having to think about it. He detaches 1 to activate. I think this adds back the Clatter Spider. The Clatter Spider is now in the hand. Like I say, it's just a massive recursion here. He goes to activate Doug, I believe, there. So we go ahead and we throw down that Gravediggers. We flip it over, burn him for 2k as well, which is beautiful for us. Like I said, we are struggling. This is a massive uphill battle for us from the get-go. Then from here, what you see is David detach again to spec out the boom mech. Because you've got to bear in mind as well, he's still got the fat nib token he has to try and get over. So it doesn't matter what he does. If it's under 3,800, he has to get over this token before he can proceed. So he's having a look, seeing what he can do to try and get over this token. And yeah, it's a very simple out. He's just not sure if he wants to do it at this stage, but yeah, you never know. So here he is now really contemplating what to do, because the token's got 3,800 defense, so it is quite a fat token. But I don't know if you can see that monster. That is the Typhon, and yeah, you just slaps that down, activates the Typhon, detaching a material to bounce the token. There goes the token, and then he can punch and punch, because he can't summon any more this turn, because Typhon does lock you out of summoning any more the turn it is activated. But the damage is done. Typhon has cleared the token. Like I said, I lose 2,900 from the Typhon attack and then 1,300 from Boom Mech. We are getting our butt kicked. So we are now, unfortunately, in a top deck situation, playing a 1.5 card combo deck. So it is very, very dangerous for us at this stage. We draw our card. It is Pot of Prosperity. So out of all the 1 cards we could draw, that is arguably the best card we could actually ask for. So we are quite lucky there. We activate the Pot of Prosperity. I'm trying to banish 6. I can't do it. I can't justify banishing 6 cards. So we have to just do 3. And we get the Imperm, we get the Bottomless Trap Hole, and we get the Amazing Time Ticket. Oh no, we did manage to do 6. We get the double Ash and we get the double Imperm. What the fuck? So here it was very clear that David's won. So I scoop it up. So I would have grabbed the Time Ticket, but it does absolutely nothing without a trap card to do something with. So we scoop it up there. David won game 1, and now we side for game 2. Okay, so there you just watch round 1 against David. Game 1 against David. It really did not go my way. Every time I kind of tried to start building a board, David was able to just come in and stop it. So, yeah. I'd like to say game 2 went better, but it really didn't. David ended up taking that game 2-0, so starting the day off strong, but it was a fun game, and that's what we're there for this week. We want to have fun, and we definitely had fun. David is amazing. Like I say, he's a follow guy from MPEG. Him and Molly, started MPEG and just brought me on board to help out, and yeah. So always fun when I get paired against them. It's always a relaxed game, which is always nice to have, especially round 1. But yeah, so we're starting the day off with a loss, but it happens to us all. Like I said, learning opportunities. I'm not sure if there's any changes or anything I would have done too differently in that game. Definitely a few bits that possibly were not optimal, but I haven't played Traptrix in God knows how long, so yeah, can't be mad at losing to Goblin Fiendsmith. But anyway, let's jump into round 2. Let's see if we can do any better. Okay, so here we are in round 2, and funny enough, we have the mirror match. Now, we do lose the dice roll, and our opponent, we're up against Josh. He goes ahead and summons the Pudica. He went to activate the Pudica effect Search Garden. We drop that imperm to tell him no, and then we spec out the Amazement Administrator. I explain what the Amazement Administrator does, and he goes ahead and links off the Pudica into Sarah. Just want to have a quick read, just make sure this one did state all traps, even though I'm playing it as well. I couldn't remember off the top of my head, so it was worth just checking. And he goes ahead, specs the Parallel Exceed from hand. Bit of a, I don't want to say rookie mistake, because that sounds really... but it is a rookie mistake. Always spec it in defense mode, because if it gets stopped for whatever reason, if your combo gets stopped, you're not stuck with a monster in attack position with very weak attack. So if you ever do this, please spec it in defense. So here he summons the other Parallel Exceed. I trigger the Haunted House to Book of Moon, the first one. Reason why I decided to do it there is because I wanted to stop him from going into a rank 4 Exceed plays, and I believe I may have done it. Our opponent's having a little think here. He's having a look at his hand, but no, he does have the Arachnocampia, so he goes ahead and specs the Arachnocampia again in attack mode. But yeah, so he goes ahead, specs the Arachnocampia, triggers the Sarah effect to set a trap, so he sets the Holotea. And I was really confused. I was expecting him to activate the Holotea, but he doesn't. He just picks up his extra deck. So it's like, okay, cool. I'll see you. He's just confirming that the Parallel Exceed that's face up is still level 4. I confirmed that is the case. It's only the face down one would not be level 4 when it's flipped back up. So he goes ahead here, makes it a rank 4 monster after all. So I wasn't able to stop it, unfortunately. But it is what it is. He goes for the Pudica. Not Pudica. Whatever the hell this thing's called. Begins with a P. We'll just call it Peng. He goes for the Peng, which I was really shocked by. I honestly thought he'd go for Rafflesia. Now, I'm fully aware that the Traptrix monsters are unaffected by normal hold cards, and the X-Deck monsters are unaffected by all trap effects. But I still would have thought you would have gone with Fleecia, because obviously it's got the 25k defense, as well as he's seen that I play other cards, not just Traptrix. So, but, is what it is. He detaches 1 to search, and then I believe he passes turn here. But now, if I see correctly, he has a trap card. I believe that's a Holotea as his middle card in his hand. So I'm really confused why he didn't discard the Holotea in hand in order to activate the Holotea on field. And then he could have banished the Holotea he just discarded to spec back one of his other Traptrix monsters and done a second rank 4. I guess it's always easier to watch this back to say, well, I'm just really surprised. So here I go ahead and normal summon Malario, activate the effect search for a hole, so we go ahead and we grab our Holotea. So here now we will set our Holotea. So I'll switch to attack mode. Because again, it's a case of what can I do compared to other things. So I'll go ahead here, punch his Punica, and then I believe we punch the Sarah. Yep, we punch the Sarah. We clear 2 of his monsters. We leave the Pile Exceed in defense mode, which does absolutely nothing for him. And then we move to main phase 2. We set a card. We activate Holiday. Now this is where I misplayed. I didn't link into Sarah first. So that was like a really missed opportunity there to spec an additional monster. However, is what it is. Shit happens. It's not quite over spilt milk, as they say. So here now we just decide, fuck it, we'll make the best of a bad situation and link 2 into IP Masquerena. We set a card, which is Imperm. So I want it in the Holiday section in case he decides to try and summon the monster before activating Holiday. So he's got Dianea, he goes ahead, he normal summons Dianea. Activates the effect to spec 1 back in defense mode. Not understanding why we've paused there, but we took a pause. I don't know why I activated the administrator there. I literally set the Imperm in that column to stop the Holiday. So we go ahead here. I was like, okay, cool, I can just book a moon. So he gets the monster. On resolution, we book a moon. Here's Dianea. So yeah, really confused why I did it that way around, because I should have just impermed it to begin with, and it would have shot his Holiday off as well. So yeah, really confused. Because he even went to banish my monster. Did I just forget I had Imperm there? He even just went to banish. So we go ahead and we trigger the IP effect to negate, and we go into the Unicorn. The Unicorn effect, we pitch the card in our hand, which was Shifter, to shuffle the Pudica back into the deck. Now don't get me wrong, I've still managed to stop him from linking and all the rest of it, but there was such an easier way and a lot less resource way to get that done. So that was not a very optimal board for me. All I should have done there was flip that Imperm, which would have negated that Holiday as well, so then he wouldn't have been able to have even activated the Holiday here. So that was really stupid of me. But you know, we live and learn. Like I say, I haven't picked up Traptrix in a while, but it's good to see, watching it back, that I can actually see that mistake here. Yes, he has linked it to Sarah. I explained that, yeah, he can flip his Parallax Eid over. Don't know why he would, unless he's got another way to link. He sets a card. But yeah, so definitely made some bad decisions here. But now we go ahead and activate our Holiday during this end phase to banish it to spec a Traptrix monster. So we banish. Now I believe here we spec the Malaria, which will now activate to destroy a spell or trap on our opponent's side of the field. So we pop his back row, which was the other Holiday. So I know we've made some mistakes, but our opponent also has. And here now I decide it's time to start mopping this field up. Right. Now I had a look at my set card, saw the Imperm, and most probably thought, what the fuck have I been doing? Here now we just go link 4, we activate access code, targeting the Nightmare Unicorn to gain 3000 attack. And now we banish 1 because I've only got Dark Link monsters in Zigrave. So we banish the Unicorn, pop the Parallax Eid, we get rid of that. We set a card, and I punch Sarah for 4,500 damage. But again, that was a mistake on my part. So I should have popped his face down monster, not the Parallax Eid. The Parallax Eid was level 8. It weren't going to do shit for against us. It's not a plant or insect, so you couldn't use it to climb through the Traptrix links or anything like that. So yeah, that was definitely an oof on my part, because now here that he normal summons Malaria, attempts to activate the effect, we Imperm, we book him in the monster. So yeah, we stop him again, but we just had to give up 2 more resources here. When if we just popped it, yeah, he would summon Malaria, we would have Impermed, or Book of Moon, we would have Impermed that, but we would have still had the Book of Moon trap to use at our disposal. Because all he can do now here is Lincoln Sarah, which he doesn't do, he just passes. I believe that's a pile exceed we just drew. So not a whole lot we can do, but we managed to pop the face down and then we punch into the Malaria, doing some more damage. And he scoops it up. So that is game. And yeah, we'll talk about this more in just a second. Okay, so you just watched the game 1 of round 2. No, sorry, that was game 2 of round 2. I was already 1-0 against Josh. He went first game 1, and it was a very similar story, but much smoother. We access code OTK basically. Reason why I wanted to show game 2 there was to show those misplays I was doing. Having that imperm set and dancing through all of these hoops to stop his turn when I could just imperm the monster and called it a day. So yeah, some misplays. Thankfully we was not punished for it, but we used up a lot more resources that was actually required, and hopefully, you know, like I said, it's a learning curve. I don't know when I'll next be taking Traptrix to locals, but certainly something to keep in mind, that's for sure. Also, Josh, I don't know if you watch these or not, hopefully you do, but hopefully as well you can pick up on some of the misplays that were made on both ends, because I know that you are moving forward with Traptrix for a while, so hopefully you do watch this and you see some stuff. But yeah, so we end round 2 1-1. Not gonna lie, better than what I was expecting. I didn't expect to take a single game today, so the fact that we took one was great, and it was a mirror match of all things. I thought that would definitely be an uphill struggle, but was actually very comfortable in that mirror match. But anyway, at Geek Retreat now, we're taking a break for a half hour, and then we will be back in the action with round 3. So I'll see you then. Okay, so that was the round 3 game there, what you saw against Joe. Like I say, it was a very fun game. I know what you saw, it may not have been the most fun to be in, but honestly, playing that game was a good laugh. I really enjoyed that game. Game 1 took game 1 took absolutely ages. Like I said, nearly 40 minutes of the clock. So game 2, it sucks that it's time cards, but it's part of the game. Yeah, at the end of the day, if I could fit in some time cards into Traptrix, trust me, I would. So I fully understand, fully get it. But yeah, looking over the gameplay, honestly, I don't think there's a lot more I could have potentially done to slow Joe down to what we did do. None of the trap cards were really going to do a lot against Paleozoa. So as such, making things like Rafflesia over Time Thief Redoer just wasn't going to cut it. But trying to suck up some of the more key cards for his combo just seemed like a better idea. So definitely, in my opinion, I made the right call. If you disagree with that, please put it in the comments. Let me know what you would have done instead. Based on what we had compared to what we could do, like I said, I honestly do feel like I made the right choice there. But yeah, so that's round 3. We will go over to round 4 in just a moment. So catch you in round 4. Okay, so here we are in round 4. It is the last round of the day. We are up against Ryan yet again. So we played against Ryan last week, and as Matt Black has commented on the video, we both did some unintentional cheating. So let's see if that's the case again this week. So this is game 2. I did take game 1, I believe. Yes, I took game 1. So this is game 2 now. He lets us go first, which is both good for us and also terrifying, because he is playing a go second Sky Striker deck. So we norm summon the Arachnocampia and then link it off in Sarah to then activate the Holotea, and we go ahead, we ditch the Horror House. Now that is the wrong card to ditch, that is a misplay on my end, because pure and simply we could spec up the Dianea because the trap card was activated and then get back one of the whole cards that we would have ditched off the Holotea. However, the Horror House we cannot recur, so that is that Horror House done. So it was a misplay, but oh well, I realised it as well. That's what me and Ryan are talking about currently. So we go ahead and we just spec out the Mantis. I set a card, activate Mantis quick effect to bounce it back to hand in order to trigger Sarah to set a card. So when I took game 1, I was very excited. I did not expect to take game 1 because literally it was Lightning Storm and cleared my back row. And I just kind of sat there and looked at him and I was like, cool, you main deck Lightning Storm, that's not fucking terrifying at all. But yeah, so we set our trap card. I believe it was Gravedigger's Trap Hole that we set there, because that did win us the game when he went to activate the Sky Striker Ray in the grave. And here we link 2 for IP and we pass. So we set 2 cards. Also in round 1, quite funnily. No, this isn't game 2, this is game 3, I believe. No, it is game 2, because game 3 I made him go first. So here he goes ahead, activates the Cosmic Cyclone. Unfortunately, nothing I can do about that, and he banishes the Gravedigger, and he has to pay 1,000, so I'm not too bad at that. But yeah, I normal summon sorry, I went into Time Thief Redoer on game 1, and the card I sucked up was his Harpy's Feather Duster, which we both kind of just like looked at it for a minute. I was like, dude, why are you maining this? But yeah, so he activates Triple Attack Talent, discarding of Ray, so I can't respond with a monster effect. And other than the IP, he actually negates the Sarah. That really confused me. I thought he was going to negate the IP to basically shut that effect off, but no. And then he goes Widow Anchor to negate the IP, So either way, they were both getting negated. And I don't have a choice here. I have to use the IP effect now, or I'm going to lose it. So I'm in an hour in between going into Silhouette Rabbit, just to get that monster that can't be destroyed. I was checking the back row to see if any of them was an additional Holotaia, because if so, then I could use that to trigger Rabbit. Unfortunately, no, none of them were. So we settled on the SP and we banished the Widow Anchor. Looking back, I'm not sure if that's actually right. It would have been on the field at the time of summon, so technically I can target a card and banish it. And then he goes ahead and activates triple attacks. Chooses takes my SP. So I'm like, cool. There goes my whole board, basically. And then he goes ahead and normal summons Ray. So, yeah, not a fantastic spot for me. He links off Ray into... Now, I do apologise, I do not know the Sky Striker extra deck names, but I will see if I can remember their effects. So he goes in this one. Doesn't matter because we bottomless trap all to destroy it. And then he attempts to activate Ray. I've got nothing for Ray, so Ray comes back. And then he just links 2 anyway. Yeah. Sky Strikers is fun because none of them are once per turn. So then he goes into this guy, which can pop a back row. So we imperm, we negate. He's thinking about linking them off. He decides against it, stays in, and just... Does he punch here for the 15 or does he link off? Because he can't go into Zeke because Zeke requires 2. Yeah, so he just punches for the 15. I'll take 1500. And then he links off into the one that searches a Sky Striker spell in the end phase, which to a different name of what he's already got in the field. So he moves to end phase, activates the monster effect search, and I believe here is where he shows me. He pulls out the engage. I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, he grabs engage here for follow-up. Yep. And, I do not like Sky Strikers. So, that is the end phase, So, at least now it's our turn. Our SP's gone. All of our monsters are gone. All of our back row's gone. I'm in a top deck situation. I do not like how often I'm getting into a top deck situation in this deck, because this deck does not do well in top deck situations. So we banished the Holotaia in order to special summon a Traptrix monster from our grave. So we go ahead, we spec back the Mantis. We then link off the Mantis into a second Sarah. And then from here we go ahead and normal summon the Dionea. Dionea will trigger specking back the Mantis in defense mode, which will now trigger the Sarah to set a trap directly from our deck. Now, if I was smart here, I would have grabbed the Gravedigger's Trap Hole. Reason why is because he's got that stupid Sky Striker Ray, which can just float back as soon as I destroy his monster. But I'll be honest, I didn't actually see what card that was. There's some horrible glare, but it definitely didn't look like Gravediggers to me. And now, don't get me wrong, I couldn't have punched over the monster and activated the trap to get rid of the monster and Ray all in the same turn. It would have to be next turn, but knowing he has engage, I really don't want to run that risk. So I decide, I'm thinking between going into Peng or Rafflesia. Going into Peng gives me more pressure because then I could punch his monster and then main phase 2, rank it up to Zeus, which then we are sitting on a board wipe. Or we can go Rafflesia and have the trap cards of our deck at our disposal. After umming and ahhing for quite a while, I did take my time with this decision. I decided to go for the safer and most probably the longevity play of the turn, which is go for the Rafflesia. Me and Ryan had a chat about this afterwards. he confirmed that the Rafflesia was most probably the better play out of the two. So I'm glad I saw that in the end. I decided to follow that through. And yeah, but sadly that's all we could do. So we pass turn, Ryan draws turn, and then goes ahead and activates Engage. How this card is at 3 without having that caveat of once per turn is kind of beyond me, because god damn, like this card is absolutely mental, and I don't care what anyone says, it is mental. Sky Striker is worth it 100%, just because you can resolve Engage multiple times. So yeah, here he goes ahead and grabs this spell card, which basically allows him to destroy a monster on the field, and then if he has 3 or more spells, can destroy a non-target back row. Funny enough though, Rafflesia basically says, well, it's got material, can't be destroyed by card effect or battle, and neither can the other Traptrix monsters. So he goes ahead, activates Desire's Banishing 10 for cost, which was lovely to see, because normally I don't see this card outside of like Gren Menju or outside of Sword Song. So anything that basically benefits from banishing cards. So this was not nice. He did explain why, and that's because you know, he can't really run the card that requires for you to banish your extract, because he needs his extract monsters too much. So yeah, I get that. So Rafflesia basically says no to being destroyed, so which is nice. So now our opponent has to rethink things here. So he takes back the spell card because he can't actually activate it because there's nothing he can destroy. So yeah, as you can see, he's got Rose in hand, he's got Book of Eclipse, which he now plays. Unfortunately for me, because when Rafflesia is face down, guess what can happen? He can activate the spell card to destroy it. And that's exactly what he does. So now it's face down, he activates the card to destroy it, and then non-target destroy the back row. So just like that, I'm left with just a Sarah, and I'm in a top deck situation yet again. Although very bold of me to assume I'm going to get another turn. Who knows, he might put me out of my misery here. But yeah, I know a few people who do watch these videos know Traptrix or play Traptrix. Can someone explain to me why I keep getting into top deck situations and how to avoid that moving forward? Because that would be great. So here now he goes into another Sky Striker Link monster. I believe this one can attack directly, and he does. He punches me for 1500. So I was like, cool, fair enough. And then from here he sends a spell to grave. Not entirely sure why. I'm assuming it's part of the monster effect, I'll be honest with you. Like I said, I don't know these Sky Striker extra deck cards. I know most of the spells, and I know the main deck monsters, but the extra deck ones, they all kind of look the same to me, to be perfectly honest. So now he goes ahead, links it off into Kagari. I know this one's name. And Kagari, I believe, can pop a card or banish a card or something. And then Rose will spec itself. Sorry, adds a spell. Is that what it does? Who knows? I know its name, doesn't mean I know its facts. But then here we go again, we go to 8 Link 2. We believe we go Zeke here. Yeah, and Zeke banishes a monster, so he banishes my Sarah, so that's gone. And then he activates Engage to search and then draw. So yeah, it's really not good for me from here. There's a couple of minutes left on this round, and I can tell you now, we don't win this one. We end up losing game 2 here, and we do end up going to the all-important game 3, which is nice because it's round 4. We're both X2 at this point, so it's nice that we've got a really good game going. Yeah, I took game 1, he takes game 2. So just getting to game 3 is nice. I like it. So he goes ahead, activates multi-roll, explains to me what multi-roll does, just because I haven't seen this card in God knows how long. And then he has linked, but he hasn't actually put the new link monster up, which he now realises. That's why his monster has disappeared. And this is the one that searches for a spell card in the end phase. So he goes ahead, searches out. What's he search here? I think he searches linkage, if I remember correctly. Oh no, sorry, Shark Cannon. So Shark Cannon can banish a card from my grave. So he goes ahead and activates that in the end phase as well, banishing a card from my graveyard. I believe he goes ahead and banishes my other Sarah just to stop the recursion, which is cool, fair enough. But now multi-faker, no, we're not playing Altergeist, multi-roll will activate here, allowing him to reset a Sky Striker quick play, and he just resets the Shark Cannon, which I thought was a bit okay. I thought he would have gone with the one that negates my monster and then takes it, but yeah, not going to argue if he wants to take a banish instead. So we draw for turn, and I think that's all she wrote there based on my hesitation. I'm having a look. I've still got a Sarah in there, but there's nothing I can do. I'm in a top deck situation with a deck that requires 1.5 cards. I can't get the other card. The card I actually drew was Ash Blossom. So yeah, we scoop it up, and that is game. We move to game 3. Okay, so there you just saw game 2 against Ryan playing Sky Striker. Game 1 that I took, it was a very much back and forth game, and it was really enjoyable. Game 2, you just saw there, didn't go that well, and game 3 actually went even worse for us. Now, Ryan was on a go second build, so I made him go first, and yeah, we're a trap based deck, we want to go first as well, but I felt like with him having lightning storms, the cosmics, the Harpy's Feather Duster, I couldn't risk it. And honestly, I opened a really good hand for going second. It was just really unfortunate that he drew 2 cosmics and a bunch of other stuff, which absolutely countered pretty much everything we did turn 1, and it left us in a very poor position. And then unfortunately, time was called during his battle phase of that turn, and when the time was called, we were 300 life points less, but he was able to get another monster up to do even more damage anyway. So the game went to time where it was a loss. There was no way we were pulling that back. It just was not going to happen. I don't care what anyone says. We were not pulling that back for love or money. But it is what it is. It happens. We went 1-3 today. Not the greatest result in the world. But like I said, we were not there try-harding. We were not there on the competitive spectrum this week. We were there as a casual player. And as a casual player, we got smacked down. So, like I said, I have ordered the missing cards to play Fiendsmith, Chimera, Azamina. Just waiting for those to arrive. If they all arrive before next week, we will take that deck and most probably do terrible with it, because if they do arrive, they will arrive Friday or Saturday, meaning we will not have a lot of practice, if any. But if they don't arrive, I will be taking another casual fun deck. And it will either be Math Mech without Circular, since that Circular is banned, or Endymion, I think. one of my favourite decks, if not my favourite deck. So yeah, I'm sorry this video compared to the first one hasn't been as energetic either. Like I said, it's been a long day. I need to look at my structure properly so I can put a lot more effort and energy into these videos. I want to be able to really engage with you guys and give you good content. But yeah, so with that being said, I hope you enjoyed anyway. Like and share with a friend who you think might appreciate this, and if you're not already, subscribe. We've got over 100 subscribers. I want to keep growing, and I just want to see how far we can take this. So catch you in the next one. Peace.